We continue now at the top of Daf Yomi Meseches Makkos. This is Makkos Daf 10b. The Gemara continues, Miklat hayakasav al parshas drachim. The word miklat, it was written where the roads, where they split into different directions. Kadei sheyakar harotzeach v'yifne l'sham. So the rotzeach would recognize which way to go, and he would turn in the right direction in order to go to the Yer Miklat. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana says, Mikro, what's the pasuk that indicates this? The pasuk says, Ta'achin l'cha aderech. It says, prepare the road for yourself. Aseh l'chach. You have to make those preparations so he should find his way. And the Gemara continues, Rav Chama bar Chanina pasach lo piskal lahai parsha samehachar. Rav Chama bar Chanina, when he would begin talking about the parsha of the Yer Miklat, he would begin with the following introduction. It says in the pasuk, Tov v'yashar Hashem al kein yorech hatoim baderech. It says in the pasuk in Tehillim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he leads those who sin. And im l'chatoim yoref, he's providing instruction for those who sin. He's providing these Yer Miklat kal v'chomer l'tzadikim. All the more so will he provide proper direction for the tzadikim. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish pasach Lakish, he would begin with an introduction to this parsha from here, from the following. The pasuk says, "V'asher lo tzadav Elokim ino liyado." It says HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought it to him. It wasn't a premeditated murder. It was something that happened by mistake. And so he introduced this with the following. The pasuk says in Sefer Shmuel, "Kasher Yomar Mashal Hakadmoni," like the original parable says, "Meirisham Yotza Resha," that from the wicked it comes out evil. And Rashi here explains, "Mashal Hakadmoni hi HaTorah." The Mashal Hakadmoni, that's actually a reference to the Torah. She Mashal HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Torah is the Mashal. It's the parable of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shukadmono Shalolam, that he was the first of the world. V'hi Amra Meirisham Yotza Resha, and it says in the Torah that from the wicked comes out evil. V'heichan Amra. Where do we find this in the Torah? It says V'Elokim ino liyado. It says that God brought it. V'heich HaKadosh Baruch Hu mamsi michshel la'adam lachto. How could HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring a stumbling block to somebody that he should sin, that it should happen by mistake? Al yedei shahayu shneim rishayim. Rather, it's because really both of them, as the Gemara is about to say, both of these individuals are wicked. Hahoreg v'hanerag. The person that killed, he was wicked, and the person that was killed. Hahoreg hayachayev galus. The person who killed, he was already chayev exile. V'ein eid bedavar, but there was no witnesses. V'hulo gala, he never went to exile. V'hanerag hayachayev misan. The person who was killed, he actually was liable to the death penalty. V'ein eid bedavar, but there was no witnesses. V'lo nerag, and therefore he wasn't killed. Lefigach HaKadosh Baruch Hu mizamnan lefundak echad v'chulo. Therefore HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he brings them both to one inn, as the Gemara will now say. And the Gemara continues, what is the pasuk talking about? B'shnei b'nei Adam, it's talking about two people, shahargu es hanefesh, that they killed. Echad harag b'shogeg, one of them killed by mistake. V'echad harag b'mezid, and one killed on pis. Lazeh ein edim, v'lazeh ein edim. There were no witnesses in either case. HaKadosh Baruch Hu mazminan lepundak echad. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings them to the same inn. Zeh shaharag b'mezid yoshev tachas asulam. The one who killed on purpose, he's sitting beneath the ladder. V'zeh shaharag b'shogeg yored b'sulam v'nafal olav v'hargo. And the one who killed by mistake, he's going down the ladder and he falls on the person and kills him. Zeh shaharag b'mezid nereg, and therefore everything comes out even. The person who killed on purpose, he gets killed. V'zeh shaharag b'shogeg gol, and the person who killed by mistake, he will go to exile. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabba bar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Huna. Rabba bar Rav Huna says that Rav Huna says, V'amri lo Amar Rav Huna, Amar Rav Elazar. Some say it's Rav Huna says that Rav Elazar says, Min haTorah, min hanavim, min haksuvim. From the Torah, from the Navi, and from the Ksuvim, we learn the following. V'derech shadam rotze leilech ba molichin oso. In the way that a person wants to go, that's the way that we guide him. Where do we see these ideas? Min haTorah, we see it from the Torah, Dechsib, because it's written lo seilech imoim. It says don't go with them. This is talking about by Bilam. Uchsiv, and then eventually it's written kum leichitam. Go, you should go with them the way he wants to go. That's where he was led. Min hanavim, and from the prophets, because it's written, Ani Hashem Elokechem elametcha lahoel madrichecha b'derech teilech. It says that I'm going to lead you on your path. And min haksuvim, we also see that from the ksuvim, because it's written, Im la leitzim hu yolitz v'la'anovim yitein chein. If the person wants to be among the leitzim, he wants to be among those who are involved in mockery, then that's where he will be. And for those who are humble, they will be in their proper place as well. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Huna. Rav Huna says, Rotzeach shagolali Yer Miklat, if a murderer is exiled to the city of refuge, umitzo goel hadam, and the goel hadam, the redeemer of the blood, that's the relative of the victim, he finds this murderer, v'hargo, and he kills him, pater, he's pater. According to Rav Huna, if the goel hadam kills the rotzeach, again the person who killed b'shogeg, if the goel hadam kills that rotzeach, the goel hadam is pater. And the Gemara explains, because Rav Huna holds, v'lo ein mishpat mavis, there's no judgment of death against him, but goel hadam, who that's talking about the goel hadam, that line in the pasuk is referring to the fact that the Goel Hadam is not liable if he kills the Rotzeach. And the Gemara continues, Bagol Hadam Hu Dechsiv. Again, that pasuk is written with regards to the Goel Hadam. And the Gemara continues, Meisvei, we have a question from the following brisa, V'lo ein mishpat mavis. Again, the same pasuk, it says, V'lo ein mishpat mavis, Berotzeach hakasa medaber. So this particular brisa says that that's not talking about the Goel Hadam. That line in the pasuk is saying that the murderer who killed by mistake, he's not liable to the death penalty because it was a mistake. And the brisa continues, Ata omer berotzeach ho'enu ela begoel hadam. You're saying that that line in the pasuk refers to the rotzeach. Maybe it's really the goel hadam. Keshu omer v'hu lo sonei lo mitmol shel shom. But when it says in the pasuk he didn't hate him from yesterday and the day before, havi omer berotzeach hakasa medaber. You see clearly in the context of the pasuk, it's talking about the rotzeach. And in any case, this brisa is a question on Rav Huna. This brisa is saying that when it says v'lo ein mishpat mavis, it's not going on the goel hadam. It's going on the rotzeach. And the Gemara continues and answers, Hu damar ki haitana de Tanya. Rav Huna, he follows the Tana of the following brisa. The brisa says, V'lo ein mishpat mavis, again the same pasuk, he doesn't have any judgment of death against him. And this brisa says, Begol hadam hakasa medaber. The pasuk here is talking about the Goel hadam. Ata omer begoel adam, you're saying it's the goel adam. Begoel adam hakasa medaber, you're saying the pasuk speaks about the goel adam. Oeno ela berotzeach, maybe it's really talking about the murderer. Keshu omer kilo sonei hu lo mitmol shel shom. When the pasuk says he didn't hate him from yesterday and the day before, harei rotzeach omer, that part of the pasuk is talking about the murderer. Hamani mekayim v'lo ein mishpat mavis. So what does it mean when it says v'lo ein mishpat mavis? Begoel hadam hakasa medaber. That's talking about the goel hadam. And so again, Rav Huna follows that brisa. And the Gemara continues, Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, Mosrin lo shnei talmidei chachamim, we give the rotzeach two talmidei chachamim to accompany him, Shema yargenu baderech, maybe the goel hadam is going to come to kill him on the road, v'yadabru elav, and the talmidei chachamim, they will speak to the goel hadam. Well, what are they saying to the goel hadam? My love, is it not the masru bey, that they're warning the goel hadam, dikatel bar katalahu, that if he kills, he is liable to the death penalty, and that would go against Rav Huna. Rav Huna said that he's not liable. And the Gemara says, lo no, kidatanya, really all it means is like the following brisa. They're not speaking to him, issuing a formal warning of a death penalty. They just say as follows: Vayidabro love. They speak to him. Devarim hara'uyim lo. They speak things that are fitting to say to him. Omrim lo. They say to him, Al tinag bo minag shofchei damim. Don't deal with him the way you deal with murderers. Bishgaga b'maisa liyado. He did this by mistake. This is not the way that you should deal with him. Rabbi Meir says, he should speak himself. Shenemar, like it says, V'zed devar harotzeach. This is the word of the rotzeach. He's the one that should defend himself, so to speak. Amrulo, they said to Rabbi Meir, Harbe shlichus osa. Agency is very effective. Sometimes it's better that the person himself shouldn't be the one speaking. It's better that you have somebody else who speaks on his behalf. And the Gemara continues, Amar Mar, the master said, Bishgaga ba ma'isa liyado, he did it by mistake. The Gemara says, Pshita, well, isn't that obvious? Of course he did it by mistake. The Iba Mezid Bargola, so if he did it on purpose, you think he would go to exile? The Gemara says, well, maybe he would go to exile. In yes, V'hatanya, because we learned in a Brisa, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yosef, Rabbi Yehuda says, B'tchila echad shogeg v'echad mezid makdimin li'ari miklat. At the beginning, right after the murder, whether you do it by mistake or on purpose, you go to the Ari Miklat. Ubezin sholchin umavino sam misham, and then Bezin sends and brings him from there, and they have to try the case. Mishan is chayiv misa hargu, the person who's liable to the death penalty, they kill him. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, v'shalchu ziknei iru v'lachu oso misham v'nasnu oso b'yad goel hadam v'meis, that the elders of the city, they take him from there and they give him over to the goel hadam and he dies. And mishalon is chayiv, and somebody who's not liable to the death penalty patru, they exempt him. Shenemar v'yitzilu ha'idos harotzeach miyad goel hadam, that they save him, they save the murderer from the goel hadam. And mishan is chayiv goel, somebody who's liable to go to exile, machzirno so l'mekomo, they return him to his place, they return him to the Ir Miklat. Shenemar, as it says, Ve'eshivu oso ha'eda al Ir Miklato asher nasram. It says they return him to the Ir Miklat, which he fled over there. And the Brisa continues, Rebbe Omer, Rebbe says, May atzmon hein golen. Really, they did it on their own that they went to exile. Meaning, when these murderers who murder on purpose, when they go to exile, it's not necessarily that they're supposed to go there, but they thought they were supposed to go there. Kesvornhein, they thought, echad shogeg v'echad mezid koltos, they thought it was a place of refuge, whether you killed by mistake or on purpose. V'hein einon yodin, they did not know, shabashogeg koltos, that if it was by mistake, then it provides refuge. But b'mezid, but if it's on purpose, einon koltos, then it does not provide that refuge. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Elazar says, Ir sharuba rotzchem, if the city is majority murderers, that's how many people have already fled to this Ir Miklat, Eina koletes, at that point we no longer admit rotzchem at that time into that city. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, V'diber bo'aznei ziknei ho'ir ahi es devorav, it says he tells over what happened to the elders of the city, V'lo shehushvu divrei and ledvorav, not that their matters are the same as his, they don't have the same status as his. It can't be that the majority of the people in the city are just like him, that they're all murderers. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rabbi Elazar, and Rabbi Elazar says, Ir she'ein bo zekanim, if a city has no elders, eina koletes, that also it does not provide that refuge, to bo'inan ziknei ho'ir, because we require ziknei ho'ir, that's what it says in the Pasuk, v'lekin, you don't have it. And the Gemara continues, Itmar, it was stated the following, Machlokas Amoraim, Ir she'ein bo zekanim, if it's a city without elders, Rabbi Ami v'Rabbi Asi, it's a Machlokas between Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi. Chad Amar koletes, v'chad Omer eina koletes. One says it does, we do admit into that city, it does provide refuge, the other one says it does not. Laman damar eina koletes, the one who says that it does not provide refuge, again, you need elders in the city, you don't have that. Laman damar koletes, the one who says it does provide refuge, mitzvah bi'alma, it's just a mitzvah bi'alma. Rashi says mitzvah bi'alma, mitzvah shiyusham zakenim. It's a mitzvah that there should be elders there. Umiyu kain ba zakenim nami kulta, but nevertheless, when there are no zakenim also, it does provide that refuge. And the Gemara continues, V'ir she'ein bo zekanim, in a city with no elders, Rabbi Ami v'Rabbi Asi. Again, we have a machlokas Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi. Chad Amar nasa ba ben sorah umora. One says that within such a city, a person can become a ben sorah umora. Rashi says, ben sorah umora ksiv. By ben sorah umora, it's written, v'otziu oso el ziknei iro. It says they bring him out to the elders of the city. It says a similar phrase, the elders of the city. So again, that's why one says nasa ba ben sorah umora. That's why there's a machlokas. Rather, one says, even without elders, the person can become there a ben sorah umora. V'chadam, and the other one says, Ein na'aseh ben sorah umora. In such a city, if it has no elders, a person cannot become a rebellious son over there. And the Gemara explains, Laman damar ein na'aseh ben sorah umora, according to the one who says that in such a city one cannot become a ben sorah umora, ba'inan ziknei irovaleka, we need there to be elders of the city. You don't have that. Laman damar na'aseh ben sorah umora, according to the one who says that one can become a ben sorah umora over there. Again, mitzvah v'alma, it's just a mitzvah. It's a mitzvah that there should be elders, but again, nevertheless, even without, you can have ben sorah umora. And the Gemara continues along the same lines, V'ir she'ein bo zekanim, a city with no elders, Rabbi Ami v'Rabbi Asi. Again, it's a machlokas Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi. Chad Amar mevia egla arufa. One says, in such a city you can bring an egla arufa. The egla arufa was brought in a situation, again, where you find a dead body, and they would measure the closest city to the dead body, and they would bring this egla arufa, they would bring this calf and break its neck. And so the question is, if there's no elders in the city, would we do that? One says yes, V'chad Amar eina mevia egla arufa, and the other one says no, we don't bring an egla arufa in such a city. Laman damar eina mevia, according to the one who says we don't bring the egla arufa, eina mevia egla arufa, the one who says we don't bring egla arufa, ba'inan ziknei o'ir ahivaleka, again, you need to have elders in the city, and you don't have it. Laman damar mevia egla arufa, according to the one who says we do bring an egla arufa, again, mitzvah v'alma, it's just a mitzvah to have elders in the city. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Chama bar Chanina, Rabbi Chama bar Chanina says, Mibnei ma nemra parshas rotzchim, why is it that the parsha of murderers is said? And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Yud Aleph, Amud Aleph.